Welcome back to my channel, guys. My name is John Deak. My channel is called John Deak Toy Reviews and More, and today we're going to check out a new figure by a company called, I'm gonna try to pronounce this right. It's called Xensation, maybe? I'm not sure, but anyway, it's that company right there. That's their logo, and we're checking out their 1/6 scale Judge Dredd figure. I just want to say right off the bat that this is not a licensed figure. Big difference between licensed figures and counterfeit figures. This is actually just an unlicensed figure. It's not a stolen or counterfeit head sculpt or anything. It just happens to be unlicensed, and you know, sometimes companies start out that way. So anyway, let's go ahead, dive right into it and check out the box. So right off the bat, you're going to see that the box has a matte finish on it. It has the very famous Judge Dredd logo, which is basically his mask and his badge. It's very traditional from the film. I believe the film was released in 1995. And then you have just simply Dredd 1/6 collectible action figure. And then you have the side of the box, bottom of the box, other side of the box, back of the box, and you have some warnings and notices, again, the company logo. So there you have it. That is the box. So I want to tell you guys that when I do a review, I try to gauge the figure's quality based on what I paid for it. I mean, you know, there's an old saying, you get what you pay for. I paid $125 for this figure, shipped directly to me here in California from Hong Kong. So it's probably one of the least expensive 1/6 scale figures that I ever purchased. It also happens to be my only unlicensed figure. So I don't traditionally purchase unlicensed figures, but I made an exception for this figure because I'm a big, you know, Judge Dredd, Stallone fan. So with that said, let's see if this figure is worth 125 bucks. When you remove the top of the box, you're going to notice right away that you're going to get the figure, 2 fists, a gun, and that's pretty much it. Very minimal packaging, no cutouts for a ton of accessories, just your basic packaging. I went ahead and got the figure out of the box, and the first thing I want to say is that it did not come with a stand, so it's okay. I went and got one of my own stands, and just a really quick plug, this is not a sales pitch or anything, but I did want to show you guys because I am kind of proud of this. But this is a stand that I actually designed along with Stony Stands on Facebook. Stony Stands does 1/6 scale stands for action figures, and I did some drawings and sketches, and Seth, he's the founder of the company, actually helped me build this invisible stand. It's called the Invisi-Stand, and this part here with the version 2 is actually clear. So the whole thing's clear, and it's pretty cool. So I'm going to go ahead and use that for the Judge Dredd figure. Doesn't come with a stand. $125 figure, guys. $125 figure. That's shipped. So I gotta keep that in my mind, okay, while I'm reviewing this. Accessories. Let's go over the accessories. We have a total of 2 sets of hands. This is one of the right hands, and it looks like, you know, just your average hand. Looks like a glove with looks like he has some gold, you know, painted on his knuckles and the upper part of his hand. I mean, it's an acceptable paint app. The trigger finger here for his gun, again, same thing, some gold accents on his knuckles and on the upper part of the glove for the hand. And finally, his one and only weapon and accessory is his gun right here. None of the parts on the gun move. The paint app and the gun being replicated, they definitely did a fairly decent job. I think they got it pretty accurate to the film. You'll see the little red laser lights that light up and so forth. Let's go ahead and go over the articulation of the figure. First thing I want to mention, the figure is heavy. Definitely one of the heaviest figures, 1/6 scale figures I've ever reviewed. I'm not really sure why. I know the head is made of die cast, but other than that, the body feels really rugged and stiff and sturdy. So I'm not entirely sure which body they used for this, but anyway, regardless, it's a heavy figure. Let's go over the articulation. We'll begin with the head sculpt, and the head will actually go ahead and move down about to there. Let me give you a side angle. That's pretty much all you're gonna get it down to. It's gonna move back to a looking up position to about there, and that's what it's gonna look like on the front view. You can move side to side on an angle down, or you can go ahead and choose to do a full rotation of the head. For the arms, you can go ahead and move this arm out to about there. This one, you're not gonna really get it out to the side too far because his suit armor is blocking it. So that's pretty much as far as you're gonna get that specific arm out. And this arm also has some padding here that is blocking it, so you're not going to really get that whole, outward motion. The figure's arm will also go up to about right there, just so you could see it sideways. And this one, I mean, you can kind of, go a little further there, but that's pretty much, I would say, if you don't want to shift the armor, that's roughly about where you're going to get this arm, because you don't really want to mess with the armor, because you're going to lift it up. Okay, so the arms move up to about there, and then you're going to have a elbow bend to about right there. Same with this figure, an elbow bend to about right there. Doesn't feel like a double jointed elbow to me, so I'm gonna say that is roughly about to the point you're gonna get it to. Again, if this figure did not have this armor on it, I'm sure you could probably move the arms a lot more, but the figure has the armor. That's how you're going to display it. So I'm going to show you what your limitations are with the armor on. The arm also has a elbow pivot, left and right. Same goes for the other arm. You have another pivot, left and right. And then, of course, you have your, your wrists will, do a full rotation, move up, move down, and you can position it. All right. So there you have it for the upper part of the body. Let's check out some of the lower sections here. So for an ab crunch, you're going to get pretty wild ab crunch. I mean, check that out. That's going forward quite a bit. So and if you want to go back, you can also go back to about there and give him a pose like that if you want to. Also, he kind of has an angle pivot for the hips there, for the abs, and also ankle or sideway angle pivot that way. Let's move on to the legs. The legs, you can go ahead and spread them out to about right there. If you do it any further than this, you're going to run the risk of splitting his pants. That's about all you're going to get that way. And forward, you're going to get pretty nice forward action there with the leg. Same with this leg here. up. And it looks like the belt doesn't really get in the way, which is pretty awesome. Again, you're going to get a forward action there. And you're also going to be able to do a rotation at the hip, like this. And same with the other leg. And you're going to get a knee bend to about right there. Show you guys in all angles so you can see it. And same goes with this foot over here, this leg. You're going to get a knee bend to about right there. That's it for the articulation. The boots don't move, the ankles don't pivot. You know, the boots are fixated on there. You don't want to try to move them, or you'll break them off or break the peg. So that's the articulation for this specific figure. It's pretty decent articulation, I think. I mean, he's got a pretty complex suit of armor on, so definitely some good articulation. I think you'll be able to get some good poses out of it. Let's get some close-ups of the detail of the paint app and the head sculpt. There's some things I want to go over with you about the head sculpt. Checking out the head sculpt, the first thing that I noticed was that the head sculpt is not movie accurate. It basically, the shield here for his visor for the helmet is actually really high up. As you guys can notice on the picture I just put up here, Dredd's visor is actually, sitting right around here, just kind of covering the nose a lot more. So that's the first thing I noticed. Yeah, so do I think they could have done better with that? I think so. I don't understand why they couldn't, maybe move the head sculpt back a little bit, or possibly, just create a different mold where it was slightly a little more movie accurate. So that's kind of a bummer, but let's go ahead and continue with the look at the head sculpt. One other thing I should mention before I do the various angles is the head sculpt is die cast. Yeah, it's actually die cast. So there you have it. Let's get a close-up look of the head sculpt in all angles. All right, nice close-up shot of the head sculpt. Even though the visor is in the wrong position, I will give them credit because the lower section of the mouth and the nose definitely looks like Stallone to me. They really did a good job sculpting that. So we will go ahead and cover all the different positions of the head sculpt, and we'll start with this one here. This is straightforward. Let's go ahead and check it out on an angle here like this. And we'll move it to the other angle. All right, let's do like a up pose. Side. And we'll do a full side profile of the helmet. And you can check out the back of the helmet. Huh, that's interesting. All right. As far as the paint application goes for the helmet, I'm pretty particular when it comes to paint apps. I think it's one of the most important things, for a head sculpt and a figure. The paint app is acceptable. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. I mean, you can see right here, a little bit of black paint smudge. You can see that, there's also some black paint that they kind of screwed up over here. You can kind of also see, imperfections in the helmet. It is die the there are some imperfections. Again, it's important that I remind you guys that it's a $125 figure. So it's not, you know, who knows, maybe the paint app is not going to be as great as a Hot Toys figure for this amount of money. Although it could have been, you know, I mean, if they would have taken a little time. But again, I'm keeping that in mind, $125 figure. Let's go ahead and get a close-up of the armor. So we have a nice close-up of the armor, has the gold paint on it. As you can see, the armor itself is really, really beautiful. I mean, they did a really great job just capturing the armor from the film. You know, I always thought that Judge Dredd had a really cool costume. So they did a fantastic job of capturing the armor design, and then also, if I can get this to focus, we also have his badge. And in the badge, very finely, you can see Dredd. So that is pretty awesome attention to detail. I'm definitely really happy with the armor that they did for this figure. Let's go ahead and check out his belt. So you'll notice that he has the gold paint app around the front here. He also has this cover here that actually moves up and down from the belt, and it covers his crotch area. You have some pouches here that he can put some of his stuff in the movie, not on the figure because there is only a gun. And then you also have the holster here and the back of the belt, which is a synthetic pleather material. And then around the thigh here, you have a leather strap, which also you know, holds the gun holster to his thigh there. So the gun holster is connected to the belt and also to the leg, the thigh there. It looks like it's glued on, so it's not removable. I'm sure you could if you wanted to, if you decide to change the body for this figure, although I'm fairly impressed with the body. I was not thinking it would be as heavy as it is. Let's go ahead and get some details of the knee pads. We have some nice knee pads here. You can tell that it's also weathered. And then you have the boots. The boots are badass. I mean, you couldn't ask for more badass boots than that. You have the gold paint app. Very, very accurate. Again, looks just like out of the film, I think it does. You have the side profile of the boot. On the bottom of the boot, you have the treading. One more important thing I want to mention to you guys is the gun holster holding the gun, okay? I've looked at this figure for a couple hours now, and I have tried my best to find a way to keep this gun stationed in his holster, and it simply does not stay. There is no way you're gonna get this gun to sit in there. There's just, it doesn't fit into the groove properly. It just slides out. So you're not gonna get the gun to sit in there. I don't know what else to tell you guys other than you can try to maybe, I mean, it's gonna fall out. You know, you can kind of play with it, but it's gonna fall out. There's nothing preventing the gun from falling out of the holster. Could they have done a better job with that? Absolutely. I mean, how do you build a holster and not, you know, let the gun sit in it? But regardless, I'm pretty confident 95% of the people that buy this figure will display him posed with him holding the gun. But it's still something I wanted to point out to you. Final thoughts. What do I think about the figure? Well, first thing I'll tell you is the stuff that I like. The head sculpt and the helmet, I like that it is made of die cast. I think that's very unique. With the exception of Iron Man figures, I don't know of too many other helmets out there, 1/6 scale helmets, that are made of die cast. The armor is just out of this world awesome. I think they did a phenomenal job. The articulation, I think it's a fairly well articulated figure. The body itself, I have to tell you, I'm very impressed with how heavy the body is, how sturdy the body feels. Things I don't like about the figure. I don't like that it didn't come with a stand. The other thing I don't like is that the visor for the head sculpt is not fully down the way it should be. It should definitely be covering the nose a lot more, and it would have made the figure a lot more movie accurate. Needless to say, you could always modify that yourself. That, I would have to say, are the only dislikes I have of the figure. Other than that, I'm a Judge Dredd fan. If you're a Judge Dredd fan, I think this is a fantastic figure for you. If you're not a Judge Dredd fan and you don't have a lot of room left in your collection, then this figure is probably something you're not going to want to buy. But other than that, you know, it's a great figure. I paid 125 bucks for it. I'll enjoy putting it into my collection. I probably won't modify it. I don't have time to do all that stuff. But yeah, so that is my review on the 1/6 scale Judge Dredd figure. Guys, take a minute, head over to Facebook, join my toy group, 1/6 Society. We have awesome time in there. We discuss figures, share videos, share photos. There is no selling, no buying, no trading, no spamming in the group, so you'll have a great time. You know, it's just strictly for fun. So please head over there and join 1/6 Society. So, if you like the video, please smash that like button for me. Subscribe to my channel. As you guys can tell, I'm putting out review videos and other videos all the time, and I'd love to have you be part of my audience. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section below, and I will be sure to chime in and answer them for you. All right, guys, until next time, I will catch you at the next video.